Hi, Dashers. Happy nighttime. I guess it's nighttime for some of you, right? Depending on where you live. But earlier this morning, I mentioned how it took a while for me to really understand what recruiting was and how to actually make it a real thing that would work for me with my life and my goals. Because for so long, I was just kind of wandering around and just I was following, right? I honestly, I was just following what I was told. I was following other coaches that were more successful than me. I was copying and pasting, and I was basically trying to do things that did not work for me. And it obviously wasn't working for me because I was still struggling. And I needed to really have that conversation with myself to sit down and figure things out with what was going to work for me in my life. I had the book Go Pro, Eric Worre, and I decided I was going to do the 20 and 30, which I posted about earlier. And I set these really high goals and really high expectations for myself, and I was determined to make this ish work, right? I was like, I'm going to recruit 20 people in only 30 days, and I'm going to be amazing, and I'm going to sacrifice everything. And I told my boyfriend, and everybody was on board with me only focusing on recruiting. And while I did it, I didn't recruit 20. But I crashed and burned. I physically couldn't even pick myself out of bed a few days because it was exhausting. And while I was obviously, it was working, and I was amazed at how it was really working by just doing exactly the things that we know we should do. It wasn't, I wasn't enjoying life. I got very tired. I couldn't even work out for myself some days because I was so burnt out. I would be running on about 3 hours of sleep some days because I would just always work. And it literally took until me totally burning out to realize that that's not why I signed up. That's not how I wanted to live my life, and that's not what I wanted for my coaches and my team, So what I had to do was I had to figure out what was going to work for me, how I like to work, and I had to almost take myself back to my old Meredith where I was working in corporate and I was an eyewear designer. So I designed these glasses. Aren't they nice? But if you've ever done anything with product development, you can pick up a pen, and if you really look at any product, there's a lot of details that go into this. So if you're looking at a glasses, even pick up sunglasses. There's so many tiny little things that you don't even realize need to go into making this one product. Look at this pen. There's like 17 things going on in there. And I was responsible for putting all of these things together in a timely order that met all these deadlines and all of these expectations, right? So what I did for myself was I took myself back to that because I was successful doing that. I knew how to organize myself that worked for me in that kind of a business atmosphere. And that's what you're doing here, right? This is a business. So I took myself back to what I knew worked for me. And I started from there. I need a game plan. I need an end result. And then what I need to do for myself is to kind of break it down and really understand what is going to work for me in my day with timelines and all of that fancy schmancy stuff, okay? So if you're anything like me, this is going to blow your mind. At least I hope so, because it worked for me. So what I did was I literally sat down and I wrote out my schedule for a week. So I just did 1 week at a time. And I wrote in my schedule, and I'm a pen to paper kind of gal. I don't know if you are. You can use your Google Calendar, whatever works for you, but I like handwriting. And I would literally write out a time, my day, and I would start from the day. I wake up. I'm an early person, and I know that I function better at 6 a.m. versus 10 p.m. You might be the total opposite. You might not be able to function until 10 a.m., but you're a night owl, right? So you just got to figure out what works for you. But for me, I function better in the morning. So I would start my day at 6 a.m. and I would and now my bedtime is 11 p.m., right? So there's my day. Now what I would do is plug and play with the things that I had to do, not Beachbody related. just life, okay? So if you're working full-time, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, or you're both, plug and play everything that you have to do, right? You have to go to your full-time job if you have one. If you have a part-time job, you have to go to that. If you're a mom, you have to plug and play in things that your kids are doing, right? If they're in like 17 different, activities, you gotta, account for that. Be realistic and write down everything that you have to do. Now, once you do that for an entire week, what you want to do is just try to plug and play and see where you can fit Beachbody in. Now, I'm not talking about your 3 vital behaviors. I'm only talking now about recruiting. Okay, so like, when is going to be your recruiting time? And I want you to be realistic with yourself, because I don't want you to burn out the way I did. And I honestly really want this to be for you and for your life moving forward, because you want to live life by design, right? You want to be free with no boss. So you got to figure out what's going to work for you. Now, once you kind of have this game plan, now you feel good, right? You're like, okay, at 1 p.m. during my lunch break, that is when I'm going to do my recruiting. What does that mean, right? Like, you're just kind of like, okay, recruiting. 1 p.m. I got an hour. Okay, I'm ready to recruit. What you gonna do, right? That was what I did. I had no idea what my first action steps were. So what I did for 2 days, it took me 2 days, was I sat there and I typed out every single person that I've never talked to before. I've typed out everybody's name that I've talked to, all of my past customers. I legit put everything in an Excel doc. Now, I know a lot of Beachbody people are very big on Google Drives and Google Docs and stuff, but for me, my background has always been in Excel, and I'm just an Excel kind of gal. I know how to work with it. Like, I'm just quick, functionable. Like, that's just my background. So that's what I mean. You got to figure out what works for you in your life. I'm an Excel girl. I'm going to stick with Excel. I don't need to put it up on Google because I don't know the tricks that well. So I wrote everything out and I broke them out into tabs in Excel. And I needed to know who I was going to talk to, why I was going to talk to them. So they kind of fell into different categories. If you follow, GoPro, there's a few scripts for indirect and direct messages and stuff like that. So I had a plug and play, and I really needed to know who I was going to talk to and when I was going to talk to them. So I had to make my list. So if you guys don't even have a list, go get a freaking list. Like, start copying and pasting all of your Facebook friends or your friends that you talk to on Instagram or that go to wherever you meet people. So as long as you have this list and your schedule, now what you can kind of do is based on your end result, which is your goal. So if you're going for emerald, if you're going for diamond, if you're just here just to recruit because you want to build a team to eventually get to 2-star, you need a minimum of a certain amount of coaches. Whatever it is, take that end result and then plug and play into your week of what you're going to do. So for me personally, when I first started out this year, this 2015, I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to up it up. And my goals were very large. I had a goal of I still do, of reaching out and talking to at least 30 to 40 new people a day. And that's a lot of people to talk to, right? So you need to know who you're talking to, right? But based on your goals, that's kind of how many people you should be talking to a day, if that makes any sense. And what happened for me was I tried to do business invites, challenge group invites, new conversations, and follow-ups, a minimum number every day. And what happened was I was running out and burning myself out, and I couldn't even get back to those people that I started with on the first day. I ended up having over 100 Facebook messages at one point, and I couldn't keep up, and I couldn't give my all to these people that I wanted to really build a relationship with. And I just didn't account in my day time to just talk to people. So add that in too. But what I did was I changed it up. So I took my weekly goal of how many people I wanted to talk to and how many business invites and challenge group invites, and I broke it out to only having 2 days a week of inviting days. So I would this is what I do now. I invite like 20 people every Monday morning. And then I spend Tuesday and Wednesday talking and answering those 20 people that have written me back, because I really want to form them. I truly care about these people and I really want to change their life. So I need to invest that time that I put into it. Then Thursday, 20 more people. Friday, Saturday, I spend time answering messages, following up with the people from my first group, and then Sundays are like my day off, and then Sunday nights I kind of just check in. But that's just kind of my flow, and I realize that for me, that just works so much better. Okay, so your challenge today is to make sure that you are organized, you have your list, you have your schedule laid out, and then I want you to really just plug and play with what you can do realistically. Okay, I don't want you to set these crazy expectations and know deep down in your heart that they're just totally unattainable, because we want this to truly work for you. Like, you're here for a reason, you know? So take some time out tonight and really plug and play and figure out what is going to be most beneficial for you in your life today, so that way you can start tomorrow. Okay, so really think about it. There are tons of people that you guys can talk to, and there are so many resources, but if you don't schedule these things out, most likely it's just not going to happen. Okay, so that's your challenge today. What I want you guys to also do is take a screenshot or take a picture or anything just to share your calendar and your schedule of what you're going to do when you're going to do it. If you need any help or tips, comment below and I will totally answer them for you, because this has changed my business so much, and it's working so well for my coaches too, because we've implemented it. I just totally believe in working this for you and really setting expectations that are realistic, because you don't want to constantly feel defeated, right? You got to embrace the small successes and be proud of those little things. Like, I invited 5 people today. Bam! Fucking amazing, okay? So you got to celebrate those tiny little successes, but those little successes won't happen if you don't plan them out and if you're not organized and keep them tracking. Okay, so that's your goal, and let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever it is. Comment below. I want to see those pictures because I'm going to ask you again about them in a few days. 4 days. I'm here with you for 4 days, okay? So make sure you get them, and I can't wait to see them. I use Google Cal, and then I also use an Excel sheet. I can totally share my sheet with you guys too if any of you guys are Excel people. So comment below. Let me know, okay? Bye, guys.